Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to my channel. It is such an honor to have you here with me. My name is Gabriela, but I love to go by Gaye. I am the founder of Gaia del Sol Studios and the Soul Share System. I am a master NLP life coach and business mentor, and I specialize in the subconscious mind, spirituality, energy work, and online entrepreneurship. So today's video, I wanted to share with you 3 super important steps to help you create a life and business that you absolutely love and truly want, because it is not so unusual for so many people to wake up and realize that they are not living a life that they intentionally chose or that they are satisfied with. And the hardest part about taking action towards a life that we want is actually that first step. So in today's video, I want to share with you exactly how to get closer to waking up to a life and business that you absolutely love, that you create by design and intention, instead of just allowing the flow and autopilot behaviors to dictate our results and where we end up in life. So the first thing that I want you to do, so step 1, is I want you to create a super sacred space for yourself. So pick a place in your house, or maybe there's somewhere outside in nature, maybe there's your favorite park bench. And the more of your senses that you can involve in this process, the more powerful it is going to be. So get a favorite scent, maybe a candle, maybe some incense, a smudge tool. And I also want you to plug into your favorite music. So something that raises your state, your energetic state. And I want you to plug into that. And I want you to grab a journal or something to write with. I highly recommend good old pen and paper, but if all you have is your phone, that is also fine. And I want you to answer the following questions. What does an ideal day, an absolute dream day, look like for you? Now, I want you to really allow your imagination to just run free during this process. So let go of any current responsibilities or perceived potential limitations that you may have, and just allow yourself to really get lost and have fun in the process. So as you describe your ideal day, think about the following questions. What time do you wake up? What do you dress like? Where are you? What's the temperature like? What's the first thing you do in the morning? What kind of routines do you have in the morning? Do you work out? Do you have a long makeup routine? Do you stretch? Do you do yoga? What do you eat? How do you prepare your food? Who is with you? Are you at home in an apartment? Are you in a home? Are you in a villa somewhere? Get really specific on where you are. What do you dress like? Where do you go for work? Do you work from home? Do you go to an office? What is your commute like if you have one? What do you do when you get to the office? So if you don't have an idea, who do you work with? Who's there with you? Do you work alone or do you have a team? Are you leading people? Or are you working with a group? What do you do for lunch? What do you eat for lunch? How does it make you feel? And how long do you take for lunch? And after lunch, what do you do? Do you take a break and go surfing? Do you go right back to work and finish up the day early? How many hours do you work a day? Are you working from your laptop or are you working from a computer? So I want you to get super specific and wrap up this ideal day thinking about what do you do right before you go to sleep? Who are you with? Are there any pets, children, significant others, friends? Do you have a bedtime routine? Do you work out? What do you do? What do you eat for dinner? Now, I want you to look at this day and I want you to read it back to yourself. And as you read it back to yourself, I want you to imagine with every cell in your body what this would feel like. Again, including the most amount of senses possible. So as you are reading this back to yourself, I want you to imagine the temperature in the room. I want you to imagine what the clothes that this future version of you in this ideal day, what the clothes feel like against your skin. What does it feel like if you're wearing heels, or maybe you're wearing sandals, or maybe you're not even wearing shoes, maybe you're walking barefoot. What does that feel like? Now breathe that in, and with every cell in your body, imagine that this is your truth. Now, as you are vibrating in this super high frequency of just imagining this ideal day, I want you to sign off at the bottom of this piece of writing, just a little thank you. And thank you so much. I am so grateful that this gets to be my life. Almost affirming that this is your truth. And of just sit with that gratitude for a moment. Now, part 2, I want you to take a moment, really let this positive energy just run through you, allow yourself to be really excited. And as this emotion starts to become more neutral, I want you to step into part 2. And this is where we become radically honest with ourselves. And we get really detailed about what our current day looks like. So turn over to a new page, you can take a break, you can pause this video, get some water, go to a different space, whatever you need. And now I want you to write down in just as much detail, as much as you can, almost hour by hour if you can. And if you think about it, we're not awake that long. It's only 14, 16 hours a day. So I want you to get really honest with yourself about what your current day looks like. What kind of habits do you have? What kind of routines do you have? So starting with, what time do you wake up? What do you dress like? What are your routines like? What do you eat? Who are you with? How much time do you spend working? How much time do you spend scrolling social media? How much time? Get radically honest with yourself and do not leave anything out, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you don't want to admit to yourself, wow, I spend way too much time scrolling TikTok when I should be whatever. No judgments, just list out your day. Morning, who do you work with? Who do you surround yourself by? What are you eating? What do you smell like? What does your makeup routine look like? What does your hair look like? Everything. How do you end your day? And part 3. Part 3 is, I want you to compare your ideal day to your current day. And by being as compassionate as possible, I want you to go in and circle in your current day the habits that you know are no longer serving you and do not align with the habits of the ideal dream day version of you. And instead, I want you to start thinking about what kind of habits, and I don't want you to think huge, okay? We're doing baby steps here because the most important thing we can do to actually implement and create sustainable habits to become the kind of person that we want to become is by implementing them and stacking them and doing small things at a time so that we don't set ourselves up for failure. Because let's say, for example, your current day, you wake up at 11, you skip breakfast. If your ideal self wakes up at 5 a.m. and works out for an hour, if you literally just tell yourself that you're going to start doing that, that's not going to turn into a habit. So what you can do is say, okay, I'm going to wake up at 10:30 and I'm going to make sure that I eat something healthy. So that's a small shift that you can already start making and that can actually become a part of your regular reality, and you are becoming one step closer. You are coming one step closer to the kind of person who has the life that you want. Because the thing about creating a life and business that we love and getting past that initial stage of what direction do I go? How do I even begin? I don't even know where to start, is by not focusing on what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing what you're doing. It's focusing on becoming the person who has the life that you want. Because by doing that, by becoming the person with the habits, with the routines, with the lifestyle that we want, that's when answers, opportunities, chance encounters, knowledge, things start to present themselves to us so that we can start getting more and more clear on what it is that we get to be doing to live the ideal life and business that we want. So it is, the most important thing is become the person who has the life we want in order for the life we want to start presenting itself to us. So I want you to get clear on what habits no longer serve you and what micro habits you can start to implement in your daily life so that it starts to look more like your absolute dream life. Now, once you've gotten to this point, I want you to remember that this is a process, that it is not something that happens overnight. It is something that you get to gradually step into and become the empowered version of yourself instead of someone who sets unrealistic goals or things that are way too big and too big of life shifts in one setting or one, all at once, is setting ourselves up for being disappointed with ourselves. We want to make sure that we are being compassionate and taking baby steps and knowing that baby steps stack up and they help us actually intentionally become the person that we want to become. And I want to give you a little bit of context to this because when I first started my business, I was in arguably one of the lowest states in my adult life. And I had no idea how I was going to completely reconstruct my life to look like what I wanted, because it seemed so far away from me. I was completely stuck. I was just laid off from my job. My side hustles, all of them were just completely severed in the same week, and I was in a terrible place with my health. My burnout, which I didn't even know was burnout, had led me to be in a really bad place with my health. So arguably, it was the most stuck I had been in so long, and all I knew was that I wanted something radically different. So I did this process. I created my ideal day. And when I created my ideal day and I got super clear about what she dresses like, who she works with, what her day's like, what kind of food she eats, at least that gave me some clarity on what I could start working on day to day, while the answers started to present themselves to me. Because we cannot expect to have the answers to something that we've never done before, or something that's completely different for us, before we go out and we start taking steps towards it. We have to take steps in the direction and trust that the universe, that our subconscious mind, that source energy, that we are co-creating with this amazing source, and it is going to help us along the way. So I hope this was helpful, and I'm super excited for you to be here. This was my first YouTube video. I have been in the business for about 4 years now, and I've been primarily focused on creating content on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and so I'm super excited to be creating more of these types of videos for you. And I cannot wait to see how this visualization process, how this co-creative process helps you step into the life and business of your dreams. It has helped me, it has helped countless of my clients, and I'm super honored and excited for you to take on this process as well. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my upcoming videos.